Hi everyone, it's Ashley here. I am going to talk a little bit about food prep today. Over the past few months, Will and I have really tried to make an effort to make a lot of our meals at home. That requires doing some meal planning, doing some food prep for the week. So I wanted to share today some of our 5 kitchen utensils or 5 kitchen tools that we really find useful and use when we're doing our meal prep. There are some basic things that you might need or that everyone should probably have for when they're trying to do meal planning or meal prep. Some good knives, like a good set of knives to do a lot of chopping, maybe a sauteing pan or a pot to use if you're boiling potatoes or different vegetables. Some containers, maybe glass or BPA free plastic if you can get your hands on some of that for storing your food in the containers. Those are a couple of items that I can think of off the top of my head, but I wanted to share with you today the 5 things that we kind of use as we're doing our meal planning and meal prep throughout the week. So the first thing is super simple. It's having a good cutting board, or maybe even better yet, having these flexible cutting boards. We used to use like a wooden cutting board or a plastic one. We received these as a gift, I believe, for a wedding, so they're probably old. We need to get new ones. But they're wonderful because you can chop on them and then you can just, fold them up, get your vegetables in whatever your, container or pot or pan. So the flexibility of these is really wonderful to have. The second thing is our crock pot. Again, something that's super simple. I never really used to use the crock pot much before Jack was born. I thought it was kind of silly, like why can't you just put your meal together? Now that I have a child and I'm working, I understand how valuable this is. So this is, I don't know, I think a 5-quart crock pot is what this one is. We actually have 2. They're wonderful for making meals, preparing ahead of time, maybe putting meat in them. Our favorite is doing like a chicken or a pork with some spices and maybe some liquid, letting it cook on low for 6 to 8 hours, and then it's done. Just add a side or 2 and you have dinner. Another great thing is to make bone broth, throwing in bones that you can get from the farmer's market or another butcher, putting them in here with some water, some vegetables, or just making vegetable broth and letting it simmer. So crock pot has been an awesome tool for us, and I'm sure it is for you as well. Something else that we love, the third tool, is our Immersion Blender. We never used to use this until we started our first Whole30 and then just became really big fans of our Immersion Blender. So it's really convenient because if you're making soup or anything that needs to be blended, like a sweet potato soup or maybe a squash soup, instead of waiting for the soup to cool and then putting it in the blender, this allows you to just plug it in and stick this directly into the pot or the pan and blends it for you. Another great way that we use this immersion blender is for homemade mayo. So Will did a video. I'll post another one shortly, but you can make homemade mayo with egg and lemon juice and olive oil, and then just use your immersion blender to get it all together. So this is a wonderful tool. It makes it super easy to use instead of getting your blender dirty, and it just pops apart and you can clean this end. So that is our third tool. The fourth tool is not even a tool. It's super simple. This is what we call our potato bag. I found this up in Michigan when we were on vacation at this little craft fair. And if you guys are familiar with putting like a potato, wrap it up in paper towel and sticking it in the microwave to cook it, this is a very similar way of doing that. So I will put probably 2 or 3 sweet potatoes or regular potatoes in paper towel, maybe a damp paper towel, and put them in this bag and then put them in the microwave, and it'll cook them in 6 minutes. It sort of steams them. The bag holds in the moisture so they don't get dry, and you're able to just peel the skin off of the potato. So I think they sell these at CVS in probably a nicer format. Ours is material that was, like I said, created by some lady at a craft fair. You could probably make your own. But this is wonderful on evenings when we don't have time to roast potatoes and wait for 45 minutes. We just pop it in the microwave for 6 minutes and it's done. And then lastly, I've got our Spiralizer. This one is probably the tool that we use the least, only because it does take a little bit more preparation and time. But this is wonderful for making spiralized noodles or fries. We use it for sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, zucchini to make zucchini noodles or zoodles. This comes out so you can change the width or the size of the noodle. I think we got this on Amazon. It's been a wonderful addition when we're doing a Whole30, or we just want an alternative to a pasta, or just a fun way to have noodles that are vegetables. So those are our top 5 kitchen tools that we are using right now. I'd love to hear what you guys are using, and if there's anything else unique, please comment, send us a message. We hope that you have had fun reading this, and we'll be back soon.